here are some seated Pilates and strengthening exercises for you to try on any firm supportive chair, and try sitting away from the chair back so it doesn't end up restricting you. So you're sitting on it a little bit more like a stool, and then you can make sure that you're sitting equally through both sitting bones, trying to have your hips and knees at about 90 degrees, feet underneath your knees, and take a moment just checking that you're growing tall out of the base of your spine. You've got your shoulder fronts open, crown of your head growing really tall as well. So you've lengthened the back of your neck, you've got that gentle tuck back on your chin like you're holding a peach underneath it. And we'll start with some pelvic tilts. So where you've got your small curve in the low back at the moment, little concave, what you're going to do is roll over your sitting bones to round that curve off. So flatten it, maybe round it, try and keep your breastbone still elevated so it's your low back that you're moving rather than completely curving your whole spine. It's more that you're tipping back with your pelvis, rounding off your low back. You feel yourself rolling over your sitting bones and then rolling forward to create that concave in your low back again. And you can even deepen that concave, so it's more than your natural hold, maybe a little bit of extension. So just rocking backwards and forwards or rolling backwards and forwards, maintaining your openness and that elevated breastbone, but working on your low back position. When you feel like that's warmed up, then you could start adding, as you've tipped back, some curving down through the upper back as well, and maybe taking your chin down to your chest. And then when you tip forward, you can raise or elevate your breastbone again and maybe look up at the ceiling. So it's like a seated cat-cow, tipping back, rounding off, chin down, tipping forward, breastbone up, look up. And that will start you getting your spine moving in that direction. And then we'll add to this, if you want to, a chest stretch. So your arms would be now at shoulder height. You could roll back, but then when you tip forward, lift to get your chest stretch and your shoulder stretch, rounding off, tipping back, lifting and tipping up. So keep going with that. I'll show you how you could add a band to it. So as you tip forward and lift up, you would stretch and then round off again. So lifting and stretching, rounding off. Good, a couple more. And then we'll put that one down. Bring yourself to your mid position, so neutral spine, small curve in the low back, arms across the chest, and we'll take it to a twist. So breath in first. As you breathe out, have a twist around. When you've reached your end of range, have a breath in, and then back to centre. And you can keep going with that one, but I'll show you how you could add to this and make it more of an arm openings, which you could add a weight to, or you can just do with the weight of your arms themselves. You take the ball, if you're using it in your top hand, so you'd lift it up, and as you take it up and over, add your twist, and back. And you keep your weight equally sitting through both sitting bones, so your hips keep pointing forward, but your upper back does that lovely twist. You can watch it go. Move as you breathe out. When you get there, you could try and have your breath in. Out, breath back. So definitely try this without the weight first. It's just there as an option to add in as you get more used to the movement combination. And then we'll take it to some mermaid stretches, which again you can use weights for, but you might want to start without them. Check in with those shoulders, make sure you're still sat back away from the back of the chair so you've got your natural spine curves. And we'll lift one arm up and then tip or side bend over without coming off your sitting bone though. They stay both grounded down and come back. So you in-breath the arm up, drop the shoulders away from the ears, out breath over, have your breath while you're stretching, out breath back. Good. All right, pop those down for now. And we'll take it to a bit of hip strengthening. So if you've got a band that you can use, then pop that on the thighs. And you could work at both at the same time. You might need to be near the edge of the chair to allow your thighs to move well so they don't get sort of stuck on the back of the chair. So bring yourself to the edge of your chair. And then you could work on both at the same time. Neutral spine, check in with your position, take a breath. And then out breath, stretch, in breath, slow release. Out breath, stretch, in breath, slow release. So that the band doesn't ping you back. If you're in charge and you control the movement back, you'll be working as you return as well then. But you can work on one leg at a time. You can fix with one and out and do some repetitions. Working harder with the one leg, focusing on one side, and then changing. Gets those glutes working. Alright, you can do as many repetitions of those as you want to for strength and maybe build up with bands that get stronger. So if we go back to the softball, you can work on your inner thigh strength with the softball because you can give it a squeeze. So the opposite group of muscles. Squeeze, hold, and release. This will get these inner thighs working. Squeeze, hold, and release. You could obviously build up the amount of time that you hold for, but make sure you're not holding your breath while you do. Think about your core, think about lifting up with your pelvic floor. Everything works together, supporting each other. And when you feel like you started getting them engaged, then we'll start working with those muscles and add the knee extension. And lower, release. Squeeze, straighten. Works the thighs. Squeeze, straighten. Okay, resting from that one. We'll add some overhead arms. Again, I'll add weights, it's an option, leave them off if you don't need them yet. But you bring your arms to shoulder height, even holding the weights out at shoulder height, maintaining your neutral spine sat away from the chair back. That is strengthening. It requires your core to be engaged. So we'll add to that a lift, both arms and lower. Okay, when you feel confident with that, you could start adding one leg to stretch out at the same time. So you would alternate legs, working with both arms, or you could do arm and opposite leg if you want to, like a seated dead bug. A way of making this more challenging if and when you want to add it is you could work on one side at a time but rest the other foot on a soft ball. It would be really challenging. Try and maintain your upright position, but it does require a lot of balance. So maybe something to save once you've added the other things. Leaving the weights to one side, we'll come back to having the ball between the knees. And what we're going to add in is the sit to stand. So you do want to be near the edge of the chair. You want your feet underneath your knees at least, or even tucked back a bit more. We're going to put a squeeze in on the ball, have a sit or a tip forward, and prepare to stand. You may not stand, you may just do that, and that's fine. So squeeze, sit forward, lift your bottom, that's fine. We're working towards getting up out of a fairly low seat with control, with the squeeze, working on those thigh muscles. And it doesn't matter what order you do these exercises in. Once you get used to doing them and you don't need any prompts, you could just do any one at any time, in any order. All right, last one then for calf strength. I would add a weight to this as soon as possible, but the movement is lifting the heel up. So if you were doing calf raises in standing, you'd be lifting your whole body weight up, maybe between, both feet, but you may be lifting like 50, 60 kilos. So we want to add something to it. So if you have anything that's weighted that you can pop on, stabilise it with your hands, don't expect it to stay there, and work on lift and lower. So the calf muscle is great. Support for the ankle, well, it's more than one muscle, lots of muscles in the calf, but they support your ankle, they support your knee, they support your balance, but they also do a great job of helping support your blood circulation. So really important muscle group. Never change. If you get fancy, you could start raising one foot off and work on one like that. It will just challenge your sitting balance a bit more. But a lot of your body weight is still going down through your bottom, in your seated position. That's why it's a good idea to add some weight to it to challenge the muscles. But I think we've covered a good selection of muscle groups there, so I'll give you something to work